Hello everyone, let's discuss today the story The Hairy Ape. It's a play written by Eugene O Neill in 1922. This story is very important because it deals with a concept, a theme, which is even today relevant. That is the difference between capitalist and the poor labor class. How a man who is just because he is poor and not that sophisticated is considered to be an animal by the rich class and the capitalist class. Here, the protagonist is Yank, Yank, that is Yank. He is a laborer. He is working at a ship with his friends like Long, Paddy, and others. What happened to him is this, that he thinks himself to be very strong and he is, of course, a leader of his fellow beings. But this is what he thinks. He thinks himself to be a masculine, to be very strong, to be very powerful, to be a leader. But once when Mildred, the daughter of the owner of the ship, visits the labor class just to know their condition, she calls him to the filthy beast. The moment she calls him to be filthy beast, he feels insulted. And the existential crisis begins. Because now his own friends started calling him the hairy ape. For them it was perhaps the fun, but he felt it badly. He started thinking that how can she call him to be a filthy beast? And let me tell you what happens, how a person is treated by the rich class who is from a labor class, and how he suffers from existential crisis. Is there any sense of living there in the world where there is no respect? He has the sense of masculinity, he has the sense of being a leader, but his sense, his pride is broken by a girl who is from a rich class. So he starts suffering from that. He is disturbed, he is angry, and out of his anger, he fights with the people and he is put behind the bars. He spends 1 month in jail because he could not control his anger and fights with the people. And when he comes out, he decides to ruin the girl that is named Mildred, and he goes to her father's company there to get a job in order to take revenge. But he is rejected by the secretary of IWW. And then he was actually visiting a Jew. He visited a Jew, and there he sees an ape, gorilla, and thinks that perhaps his friends were right to call him the hairy ape because the ape also looks the same, very strong, very powerful. And he feels close to that. He opens the cage and the gorilla kills him. Here the story ends. This is a very pathetic story of the protagonist. He dies. He was, of course, a masculine. He was, of course, a leader. He was, of course, very strong. He used to control the ship when it comes to the furnace. But just because an insult which was brought upon him by a lady who was perhaps beautiful and rich, she was, of course, rich. He could not tolerate that. He starts suffering from existential crisis. At the same time, his own friends started to be appearing alienated to him. So this is a sad story which talks about industrialization as well, which talks about the difference of capitalism and socialism, which deals with rich class versus labor class, and how we sometimes not care for the condition of a person, rather we make fun of that without considering the fact that a person can feel bad about it and can suffer badly. This is what happens to Young, and finally he is killed by the gorilla. Thank you very much for listening to me.